Welcome back. So in this lecture, we're going to learn how to target specific mobile devices and specific operating systems. Now, this is something that you might not want to use that often, but still, it is one of the many targeting options that we have in our toolbox. Now, in order to be effective with your marketing and your advertising, you want to have as big of a toolbox as possible to target people as specifically as possible. And this is just one of those things in that toolbox, whether you choose to use it or not. It's more control to us and it's a way of mastering the system. So let's dive into it and learn just how it works. So what we're going to do, since we're still in the placements, is that we're just going to go down until we see the show more options. And I'm going to click right here. So it says specific mobile devices and operating systems. And this is where we can do a more specific targeting. So by going to the right here and clicking on edit, I can make a couple of choices. Now the first thing I can do is that I can choose to target all mobile devices, or I can choose to just target Android devices or just iOS devices, or feature phones only. So what does this mean? Well, it means that, for example, if I'm looking to only be targeting people who are using Android phones, I could choose that. Or if I'm targeting people who are only using iOS devices, that would be, for example, iPads, that would be iPhones, etc. I could do that. So you have to get into the psychology of who are these kind of people, right? Because we know that Apple, using iOS devices, that's a more high quality brand. And people looking for more high quality items, that is a specific type of audience, this is a specific type of people. So if that is the type of people that you're looking to target, this could be a very valuable target option. Now similarly, we can target feature phones only. And a feature phone, that is one of those really old school phones. Do you remember the old Nokia phones, for example, that doesn't have a smart screen or any touch screen at all? So if you're looking to target the older generation, the more technically challenged generation, if you will, not everyone is, but some are, you could use the feature phones only and you could target them. So let's say that you're selling a course in how to become more technically advanced or how to learn the basic mobile phone using skills. You might want to target people using feature phones only because they don't feel like they're capable of using a smartphone. So it's just one of the many targeting options that we can use. So we're going to use all mobile devices for now. Now we also have another option. We can target people who are only connected to Wi-Fi. So what does that mean? Well, that means that people who are connected to a Wi-Fi, they are usually stagnant, right? So they're usually at home in the majority of cases, but they might also be sitting still, let's say, at a cafe. What we know is that they are not using their mobile net, meaning that they are at the very least not traveling. And people who are not traveling are more likely to buy something generally, right? Because if you're traveling, you're probably just scrolling through and going through information. So this might be another way to target people who may or may not be more likely to buy. As you can see, the potential reach with it on is 480,000 people and with it off is 480,000 people. So in this targeting that we have done, it's not going to change anything, but it might do if we get more specific, like we're choosing one of these and then we're using only when connected to Wi-Fi. So once again, this is all about what we decide to keep in our targeting toolbox. Then we have some exclude content and publisher, but this is only if we are using the audience network, which we aren't, and I recommend strongly that we don't, right? So what we're going to do is that we're going to keep things open. We're going to select all mobile devices and we are not going to bother if they're connected to Wi-Fi or not, right? So this is how you target specific mobile devices and operating system. Not something that you might use often, but something that is now in your toolbox should you choose to do such specific targeting, right? Now we are done with the entire placement section. Well, that also means that if you are going to decide to do some specific split testing later on, and since we're only using Facebook newsfeed, as we go along, we might want to add in Facebook newsfeed into the title up here. Now, I'm not going to do that right now because I'm not going to bother with it until I decide to test the placements, but just know that if you are deciding beforehand to test different placements, it's a good idea to add it to the ad set name too, because then you know what this ad set specifically is targeting, all right? Just a little hint in there, but a lot of these things is going to be repeated as we go through the course, and I'm going to show you because we're going to be doing these things also as we move on. In the next lecture, we're going to move on to budget and schedule. Very exciting. See you in the next lecture.